It is December 1989. Romania is trembling, not only because of winter. For almost 25 years, the country has lived under the rule of Nicolae Ceaușescu. Now his power is starting to collapse. This public appearance will be his last. Shortly after, he will be executed on camera. World War II has ended. Romania falls under Soviet influence and becomes part of the communist Eastern Bloc. In 1965, after the death of the head of state, Nicolae Ceaușescu takes power. At first, he is seen as a reformer, especially because he distances himself from Moscow. In 1971, he even receives the Order of Merit of West Germany, a sign of international recognition. But the optimism does not last. Ceaușescu builds an increasingly authoritarian system, a regime defined by fear and an extreme cult of personality, centered on himself and his wife, Elena. Critical voices are silenced. Dissidents are arrested, persecuted, or forced into exile. Inside the country, conditions worsen rapidly. Independence turns into a dictatorship with totalitarian traits. Ceaușescu even allows himself to be called a leader, deliberately echoing Hitler. During the 1980s, Romania enters a deep economic crisis. Ceaușescu imposes extreme austerity to pay off foreign debt. Food and energy are exported, even while the population lacks everything. Food, fuel, hot water, and electricity are rationed. At the same time, massive construction projects continue, including the Palace of the People in Bucharest, one of the largest buildings in the world. Public anger keeps growing. The country is close to exploding. December 15th, 1989. In the city of Timișoara, the uprising begins. The trigger is the planned removal of a pastor who openly criticized the regime on television. People gather outside his home, at first peacefully. Police respond with force, tear gas, batons, water cannons. For the first time, the crowd calls out for freedom. Thousands flood the streets. Barricades are built. Ceaușescu orders security forces to open fire. By December 17th, around 73 people are dead. But fear does not spread. Rebellion does. Protests erupt across the entire country. December 21st. In Bucharest, Ceaușescu stages a mass rally. Around 100,000 people are forced to attend. Many are brought directly from factories and schools. Everything is scripted. Flags, portraits, recorded applause. The speech is broadcast live nationwide. Ceaușescu steps onto the balcony. He waves mechanically. The crowd remains silent. Then a few voices break through. More join. Whistles, boos, shouts for freedom and democracy. The cameras suddenly tilt upward, toward the sky. This is not a mistake. The broadcast protocol demands it during disturbances. Ceaușescu looks confused, then frightened. State television loses control of the audio. Protest sounds are heard live. Chaos spreads. The broadcast cuts to music, then briefly returns. Ceaușescu promises higher wages and pensions.
Să majorăm în cursul anului viitor retribuția minimă de la 2000 la 2200 lei.
It no longer matters. The transmission ends for good. That night, Bucharest turns into a battlefield. Barricades, gunfire, street fighting. The city does not calm down. December 22nd. At around 7 in the morning, Elena received the news that from Bucharest's industrial districts, kilometer-long columns of workers were marching toward the city center. By 9:30, University Square was already completely filled with demonstrators. The army fired isolated shots, but the first units began to defect to the protesters. Meanwhile, inside the Central Committee building, the final Politburo of the Communist Party was in session. There, Nicolae Ceaușescu announced the death of Defense Minister Vasile Milea. Officially, it was declared a traitorous suicide, but most believe he was murdered after refusing to order troops to fire on civilians. At 10 o'clock, Ceaușescu declared a nationwide state of emergency. At 11:20, he received the message that demonstrators had already stormed the ground floor. He ordered a helicopter for escape. At 12:09, the aircraft finally lifted off. The pilot flew westward, simulated low-altitude maneuvers, and claimed they were meant to avoid anti-aircraft fire. He deliberately made the helicopter climb and descend. Ceaușescu panicked and ordered the helicopter to land. They touched down in a field. After a brief escape by car, Nicolae and Elena Ceaușescu were captured in the town of Târgoviște. December 25th, a rushed military trial takes place. The charges are genocide and economic sabotage. The verdict is already decided: death by firing squad. The sentence is carried out the same day. Elena screams in rage and panic. Nicolae starts singing the Internationale. Then the shots are fired. It is the last execution before Romania abolishes the death penalty. With these images, a dark era ends. Romania slowly begins to free itself from its past.